Hi everybody, it's Jay Nanda, San Antonio Metal Music Examiner here at the Aztec Theater in downtown San Antonio. Very special night where Geoff Tate is going to headline here at the Aztec Theater, and I'm here having the pleasure of being with the man himself. Welcome back to San Antonio. How you doing?
Good, Jay. Nice to be back.
It's great to see you. Of course, you were here 4 months ago, the Aztec Theater. You're always welcome here. You've been coming here for 30 years. It seems like the last few times you've come here, you've always had some kind of historical points that you've been making. Like a couple of years ago, you were here for the 30th anniversary tour at the Majestic Theater right around the corner. This time it's the last official show known as Queensryche. What's the mentality of the band right now? How are things going with everything on the road?
Good. Everybody's very positive, and we're having a good time playing music together and winding down this tour, which is we've been touring a lot, you know, over the last year and a half, I guess 2 years. So I think we're all kind of looking to take a little break for a while and throw our heads into you know, making a new record, you know. And so that's kind of what everybody's talking about right now, is talking about the new record. We're passing music back and forth and coming up with ideas and how we can make it all happen. Yeah. Which is great. It's what you got to do. It's part of the whole process. Is hey, you know, this part right here. What if we did this? What if we did this? And this? You know, collaboration is one of the things I look forward to the most about making a record.
Well, of course, the tour is farewell in name of the band only, because you're changing the name of the band in about 10 days when the tour wraps up. The band will be officially known as Operation Mindcrime. So San Antonio has the honor of being your last Texas stop, officially known as Queensryche.
That's true.
Does it feel like a whole, even though you're keeping the same guys, does it feel like a new era, a new chapter in your career?
It certainly does, yeah. It's very exciting, actually. I'm very excited about the new music that we're creating and putting the new record out and then starting touring again next year. Really looking forward to the whole process, really.
Yeah. Well, what can you tell me about that? Because I've heard there's like a trilogy you've been working on for the past couple of years. I know you're really big, obviously, with the whole concept of making concept records and conceptual imagery and translating that into the form of music. What can you tell us about how long you've been working on it, how far into it you're into it, and you know what it's about, everything, anything you could tell us about it?
I've been working on it for a couple of years now, and it's pretty far along, very, very developed. There's a storyline that spreads out over three records. Thus, we have the trilogy, and it's a very in-depth story, kind of like a mystery in a sense. The story takes place internationally at a lot of different locations around the world, and the music kind of reflects a little bit of some of the original music from those areas where the story takes place. We have nuances of European music in some of the songs. We have nuances of Asian music in some of the songs, and which I think is very cool. It kind of sets the tone of where the story takes place. You know, it's very, very much a progressive album. There's lots of notes, lots of interesting time signature changes. I think from a muso standpoint, it's going to be the most interesting thing I've ever done. There's a lot of no holds barred. A lot of non-conforming to the past. Since the past is over, we're all kind of looking forward to the now and what we're doing next. And so we've kind of thrown off a lot of the things that go along with the past, like song structure and themes and things like that. And we're taking this in a very different way.
So how would, as far as the process and the making of it, seeing that it is a trilogy, would you say that this is kind of Mindcrime on steroids as far as the whole process of making, because it seems like it's 3 times greater?
Well, I always hate to compare what I've done with what I'm doing now.
Not sound-wise, but I mean just the making of it.
Well, it's very in-depth, and like Mindcrime, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. I mean, you have an outline, and then you have to write the story around the outline, and then you have to get very in-depth with the lyrics, of course, and then make sure that the melodies match up with with the sentiment of what the lyrics are about. And you've got, you know, song structure itself. How do you present this idea in the best way you can, you know? There's a lot of thought that goes into it. Then you got to tie it all together so that it follows some sort of linear path and doesn't lose your audience along the way. And you have to make it interesting, you know, something that people will want to listen to over and over again rather than just putting it on once and going, oh yeah, I got that. You know, try to stay away from that kind of thing.
And the last couple times you come here, like we said, 4 months ago at the Aztec, and then last April, the Fiesta Outdoor Show. Both times you played all tunes from Mindcrime and Empire. And I know with your history here in San Antonio, I'm sure you're very well aware that San Antonio is one of those cities where it's so embedded among the fans of hearing the classics. It's like you totally gave them what they wanted the last 2 times you've come here. And it seems like you could probably come here for the next 20, 50 years. And that's all that they're going to want to hear, at least here in San Antonio.
True.
For the first part of that question, is there more variety that we can expect in tonight's show?
Oh yeah. Tonight's kind of a bit of a retrospective of Queensryche catalog. You know, we're sampling a lot of things from the past records, and then it's off to the new thing. You know.
Good deal. Because
I know it's an interesting point you bring up though, because you know there's a real argument amongst a lot of people. You know, why spend the time and the energy putting together new music when you can just continue playing what you've already written over and over and over again for the rest of your life? You know, and there's arguments both ways. Well, what's better? I don't think there is a better. You know, it is what you want it to be, and what you decide you want to do.
Well, I've always preferred artists and bands who continue to evolve and continue to make new music, because the past is always going to be there, and you can always hear that live. And if you want to hear that in your everyday life, go put on the CD or whatever. But if you're continuing to make new music, to me, that's like the best of both worlds. The past is always going to be there; it's always going to be available. But if you're going to make more, that just gives you more reason to be liked, at least in my opinion. And that's one of the things I really liked about the Cabaret that you guys did in 2010, was not just the theatrics of it, but I mean, you touched on so many records such as Tribe and Q2K that weren't normally played live at that time, and I loved the variety of that set list. And of course, when you were here at the Majestic in 2011, you did play something from every album because it was a 30th anniversary tour.
Right.
So to me, that's got to be, I don't know, for you, is that more favorable rather than just playing the same 2 records all the time?
Oh yeah. I typically don't play the same records all the time live. You know, we just finished a very long tour with the 30th anniversary of Mindcrime, and I was definitely ready to move on from that. Yeah. You know, although I love the record, I crave playing other things live. You know, but then again, from the business side of things, that's what promoters buy. They buy a show. They don't buy the band. They buy the show that the band is playing, and they want to promote. And the Operation Mindcrime tour is a very successful tour with promoters, and so they want that. You know, are you playing Mindcrime? No, we're going to do something different. Oh, then I'm going to pass on the show. And so you always have to kind of balance that out. Well, I really want to play San Antonio, but the promoter only wants Mindcrime. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to play.
So is that such a drag for you when you get reaction like that from promoters? Is that just?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. It's like hand behind your back. You know? I mean, I can understand their point of view. They want to sell tickets. You know, and unfortunately, the world isn't made up of smart guys like you, Jay, you know, who can look at a situation and go, well, you know, I think it's great when artists bring in new music because, you know, I really want to hear what they have to say. There's only people that know one word, you know, take hold of the flame, or Lady Wore Black, you know, which is great. I love that people love those songs too. But I want to do my next tour, and maybe I'm being presumptuous at the time saying this. I'll probably put my foot in my mouth, but I really want to play just my new album only.
Well, that's something that a lot of artists have been doing lately. Or,
I love that.
Even if it's not the new albums that they're touring per se, they'll go back and do an anniversary edition and play an album in its entirety. And a lot of people gravitate to that. So why shouldn't the artists have their own say in their own material and what they want to play live? You know?
Because then you get the hate mail.
But you can't please everybody.
I waited 20 years to see such a fill-in-the-blank song.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Majestic Theater right around the corner, have you heard who's playing there tonight, who you're going head-to-head with?
No.
Motown legend Smokey Robinson
Oh,
is playing tonight.
it's like a miracle.
Same time you're on the stage, right around the corner. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Couldn't resist that one. Well, tell me about, you've been a couple years now with the guys, Kelly, Randy, Rudy, Simon Wright, of course, in the band, and Robert Zarzo. How long did it take you guys to gel as a unit? I mean, I know you've gone back to the 80s with guys like Simon and Rudy, whether you've crossed paths on tours or just as friends and so forth. But as a unit, as a band, how long did it take to where you personally were like, this is really gelling, I'm really satisfied with everything we're doing right now? Did it take a long time?
It does. It takes a long time. Yeah, because you have to kind of get into each other's zone, their heads in a sense, and understand what each other's doing musically and how that individual hears the music, because we all hear music differently, right? Even musicians. Oh, I didn't realize you were playing an A over that D right there. I've been playing it all along, because that's what he heard, And so it takes a while to fine-tune everything and get everything, everybody's on the same page, And, this is a live band. We're playing all this stuff live. There's no pre-recorded tracks or clip tracks or anything like that. So it takes a while to develop your sense of timing with each other, to know what that other guy's going to do and when he's going to do it and what he's listening for, And that's all part of the beautiful learning process of putting a band together. I've been really enjoying it, actually. And, of course, I go way back, with Kelly and Randy. Kelly and Randy and I have been making music going on 40 years. We started in the 70s in bands playing together and writing together, And so we kind of speak a language already that the other guys have to catch up with, because we speak in cryptic sentences and finish each other's sentences,
Right.
And then on top of that, we're all deaf. Huh? What? What'd he say?
Well, I know you've got to be happy about the whole Operation Mindcrime name. As we talked about, it's a new chapter going forward for you guys. And it's obviously finally put an end to the whole court settlement thing, which I know nobody likes court cases, whether it's divorces or anything in life. Are you happy with the way it turned out? Do you have everybody, your former bandmates and yourself, all had a certain role in that whole thing? Do you have any regrets in your particular role with how everything happened or developed? And are you happy with the way things have turned out?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm extremely financially happy right now. They had to pay me, which is what they should have done all along. That's exactly what the whole court case was about, So they finally agreed to pay me for my share of the name and the business. So here I am. I'm continuing on doing what I do, and they can continue doing what they do, and we'll all be happier.
Good. All right, well, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much. It's always been a pleasure talking to you. Mm-hmm. It's always a pleasure having you in San Antonio.
Maybe I should interrupt.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying, that the other guys won the name. Well, they didn't win it. We never went to court. It was all an agreement and a settlement out of court. It was a financial arrangement, So it wasn't like a win-lose thing. Although, in my opinion, I think I won.
All right, well, there you have it. So thanks again, Geoff, for taking the time. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I've always said, and I'm not saying it just because you're sitting next to me, you're always easily one of my favorite vocalists ever of all time in any genre of music. The fact that you can still belt it out and you're still making great music is always a pleasure to hear, and it's always great to have you sit down and take the time to talk to us. So thanks again. Best of luck going forward, and we'll let you get ready for the show. So for Geoff, it's Jay Nanda, San Antonio Metal Music Examiner, reminding you, don't hang them out to dry. Hold them up high.